Hello and welcome back to the FPL Conservatory. And yes, you guessed it, this is your one-stop shop pod for everything FPL in the 1920 season. I wouldn't even bother listening to other FPL podcasts. This is the only place you will find personality, good crack and fantasy advice that can help you break into the top 100k. I'd like to say that the FPL Conservatory are not liable for any decisions made from listening to this podcast, and transfers are the sole responsibility of the FPL manager. So we'd love for you to subscribe to join this channel and join us on the season ahead. Who's making noise?
Who's that? Who's doing that? Terms and conditions apply.
Let me continue with the T's and C's. Now, in the pod tonight, we have the usual suspects. I'll introduce them in a second. We're only missing one manager. Perry Williamson's not with us tonight.
He's more of a head coach than a manager.
However, unless you wanted advice from a guy that has never finished higher than 4th in our private league of 7 and once actually defrosted someone else's van thinking it was his own, I'd say you're not missing much. So I'm going to introduce a squad, then we're going to get into the crack, see how they performed last week, and if we are lucky, Ray may actually reveal the size of his pecker. So, with me today, I have Mason Grove, Jordan
Good
Palmer.
evening, everyone.
Hello.
Ray Wild.
Hello.
And Joseph Cummins. So,
Yo.
Firstly, I'm going to start with you, Raymondo. You are currently sitting bottom of the private league. How did you get on this week? Who was your captain? What mistakes did you make?
Where do I begin? Just no one performed for me, really. I had Sterling as captain, who netted me 12 points, and other than that, Coleman 5, David Luiz 1, Zinchenko 1, Lingard and Rashford still to playing. Pedro 2, Pepe 1, Origi 1, and Aubameyang 6. They're just fucking terrible, mate.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. You've been quite unlucky, I think. Like, you've got Pepe, I think you've maybe just put him a bit early. He's obviously going to get points this season. He's probably just gone in a slightly early. And Pedro definitely should have scored a couple against Leicester in particular. So I think you've been a bit unlucky. However, I think some improvements are needed, my friend.
Definitely, I do agree.
Okay. All right, let's go on to Mason. Mason, how are you performing at the moment? How'd you get on at the week?
First week was great. Second week was a lot to be desired. Had Salah captain, obviously just got the 3 points. Sterling got me 6. King got me 6. Digny was my standout player with 11. My differentials let me down, and my defence let me down, which put a lot of budget with 2 City defenders and 2 Liverpool defenders, both leaking goals. And I'm pretty fuming about it, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'm seeing now is Digny's picked up a knock as well.
Yeah, I've already read into it. Apparently, it's not that bad.
Oh, okay, so probably going to start next week.
Yeah. Don't be scared, everyone, of the yellow mark. I believe he will play.
Did you transfer in John McGinn, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, I did, mate. I did do that. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously it didn't perform this week.
No, he didn't do fuck all, mate.
And was there anyone on your bench that you perhaps may should have started?
Yeah, I could. My bench is always just going to never play, but obviously Lundstrom got 14 points, which absolutely eclipsed every single one of my starting 11. So that's a freak week. It's not going to happen again. It did wind me up though.
All right, cool. Thanks for that. Mr. Palmer, how are you? And how did you get on?
Oh, I'm not too bad. And I would say I did not too bad. I got 46 points. Obviously, still got the mighty Wan-Bissaka and Jimenez playing as we speak, but having watched that game, I don't see it going that far. Defence carried by Digny, 11 points. The rest of them waste of space. Unfortunately, I have the mighty Jon Lundstrom on the bench. So, I did want to take out Zuma, but I bottled it and thought, nah, Lundstrom's not going to do anything. And then the rest, just average.
Yeah, no, the Lundstrom thing, obviously, that is just freak. Everyone's got him in there just to free up funds, and he is a bench player. I literally only put him in my team because I had Walker Peters playing at City away, and I was like, well, I'm just going to give him a run out, and it's worked out well. But I can't see that happening again, so no, fair enough. Mr. Joe Cummins, how are we?
Yeah, good. A lot better than last week. I know that much for sure.
How did you get on? How many points have you got?
So I think the average points was 34. I'm sitting on 56 with Slabhead still to play. So yeah, it was decent. I did take a -4 actually, so that's a lie. So I got 52. Game week 2 took a -4. Had that FOMO with Sterling, had to get him in. Bought in Wesley thinking he'd be decent. Got a massive 2 points. But yeah, I had Lundstrom, had Digne. They saved me. Put Salah captain because I just couldn't do Sterling against Spurs. I can't be that guy. So, but yeah, solid week. It's taken me up the table, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm seeing that your defence, Digne and Lundstrom, are making up basically a third of your whole team's points. So, no, decent.
Yeah,
decent. All right, well, Perry's not here, so I'll just quickly go through his team. He's currently on 51 points. He also had Lundstrom in the starting 11. He's got Barkley, who didn't play, but he's only getting Kelly subbed in for 2 points, so not much benefit there. He captained Aubameyang. I think he did the same as me, and transferred Aubameyang just for the one game week, and seems to have relatively paid off. Like Salah and Sterling didn't get more points than Aubameyang, so he's on 51 points and a relatively good week. And then myself, I got 58 points. A gamble for me paid off. I got 2 Sheffield United defence. I got the goalie Henderson, who got clean sheet and 2 bonus, and Lundstrom as well.
Disgusting. I can't believe that worked. Cannot believe it.
Yeah, 23 points just from them two. I must admit, I don't know how I got away with it. I think it's just Palace are fucked. We mentioned it in the last podcast. Like, they just have no outlet up top. It's crazy.
They've got nothing at all.
I can't see that happening again, to be honest. Like, I think they may get a few clean sheets, but they're not going to start getting assists and goals as well, like Lundstrom has. And then I captained Aubameyang, got 12 points. I took out Kane for one game week. I've already swapped it back to from Aubameyang now to Kane, because they've got Newcastle at home, and Kane is going to be my captain because Newcastle don't look good at all. Okay, so that's our private league summed up. So it's quite a good. It's heating up in there, I must say.
It's getting close. You're obviously at the front. Great, happy for you.
No, it's quite close. I'm in another league with the boys at home, and they don't play as much as like we do, and I'm quite a bit in front of there. But at least Pell's like a few points behind, and then you boys are quite grouped close together. I'm like 1 or 2 points separating it, so no, long way to go yet. Okay, so let's get into the individual games. So I am going to start off with you, Jordan. Arsenal v Burnley.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal won 2-1. Arsenal, they're always going to score goals, always going to let in goals. This week it was Lacazette and Aubameyang that got the goals, as you kind of imagine. But the main man watching that game, who was Ceballos, I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
But he was the best player by a mile. Got 2 assists, 3 bonus, and every time he got the ball, he looked dangerous. I said it in pre-season. If he starts, I want to put him in my team. Now I've just got to try and figure out how I do it. I think it's either piss off Maddison or piss off Sigurdsson, because they're both useless. But yeah, Arsenal look quite good going forward, bad going backwards. And Pepe came on as well for a little bit. He looked good, but no real sort of chances that he created, just sort of nice bits of play. So I have to see how he goes on as the season develops.
Yeah, do you think that 9.5 mil price tag is looking overpriced at the moment? Even though he's not given the game time, do you think compared to a De Bruyne, he's going to be a decent pick for value?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at him v De Bruyne, it's definitely going to be De Bruyne. De Bruyne is established, going to get a lot more assists, you've got to imagine as well. So unless Pepe suddenly starts putting a good bit of form together, I can't see him being picked over De Bruyne.
And just quickly on the Ceballos thing, you're saying there you might transfer out Sigurdsson and Maddison. Like them two guys are proven FPL assets. Like Maddison creates lots of chances. Sigurdsson is always near the most highest points for a midfielder. Do you think that would be a bit rash getting rid of them proven guys for someone that's just started really well in the Prem?
It's not so much that I think he'll be better than them, but that, say if I get rid of Sigurdsson, that 2.5 million extra that I can use, because I've got no good premium striker. If I can put that up front, I think that'll make a bigger difference.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I can see that. Thank you very much for that. So I'm going to go to Joe. Villa versus Bournemouth at the weekend. What happened there?
Yeah, so Fulham 2.0 lost to Bournemouth 2-1. Early goals from Josh King. He scored a penalty, which the 18% of his owners will be happy with. He got a return after blanking last week. And then I didn't see the game, but I had flash scores up and I saw Wilson scored. So I was like, oh, no, surely a lot of people have got him. But lucky enough, it was the midfielder Harry Wilson. 6 million, actually. Could be quite a bargain on loan from Liverpool. He scored a great goal. Villa got a consolation through Douglas Luiz, the guy who Pell said never put in your team, but let's not go there. But looking at the game stats, I saw Villa had 7 shots, which is decent. But I think that's going to be the issue. They're not that clinical. So I stupidly, and I put stupidly in capital letters when I made the notes up, put Wesley in for 6 million. He didn't look great. He looked like a lower class Rondon. But despite this, Villa got a lot of bonus points. So El Mohammadi actually got 3 bonus points. Although from what I see on the FPL community, Gilbert's going to play instead of him in a couple of weeks. So I wouldn't rush to get El Mohammadi, and take note of that, Mason. I know you like him a lot.
Yeah. Emotional attachment to him, mate. Big time.
Yeah,
when he's playing for Hull, must have got me 1 or 2 points repeatedly for like 10 weeks.
Douglas Luiz got 2 bonus points as well because he scored a wonder goal, but he is defensive mid, so I wouldn't look at that. And Grealish and Harry Wilson got a bonus point as well. Other things to notice, Fraser blanked again, so if you've got him, I can see his ownership diminishing quite quickly. His price will probably fall at least by 0.1 mil.
It's fallen to 7.4 million, I checked, yeah.
Already? Oh, Christ, there we go. And I'm looking at other players like John McGinn. I think when you look at, like Jordan said, Ceballos' performance for the same price, I can see a lot of people swapping for that. Villa have still got some good fixtures, but they're out of form. I will keep faith with Wesley for 1 more week because I've got different issues in my team. But they're not looking good, Villa. Bournemouth as well, it's a story they've always had. Offensively, they're getting points other than Fraser, and defensively, they're leaking. So, yeah, King 6.5 good, but I wouldn't be touching any of these teams at the moment.
No, you said there in the roundup that they had 7 shots, but they're actually the only ones they had on target. Villa actually had 22 shots in total, which I thought it's quite a lot. They do seem to obviously be creating the chances. Do you just think it's a case that Wesley and these guys aren't just natural finishers?
Yeah, I think so. Wesley looks like someone who's going to hold up play and bring others in, but I just don't see the goals in that team. I know Grealish, he's decent. McGinn, fair play, he scored in game week 1, but I don't see the firepower in that team. I can't see where they're getting points offensively. And obviously they've conceded 5 goals in 2 games, so defensively they're not looking as solid as you'd want them to be either. I think Villa at the moment are a massive avoid.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I've got McGinn, and like you say, they're comparing it to Ceballos or whatever, who's near playing for Arsenal, going to be challenged for top 4. They're going to create more chances. They've got better finishes for these assists, so it's definitely one that I'm considering. All right, thanks for that. Mason, Brighton versus Wet Spam.
Well, yes. 1 apiece in that game. Trossard got the goal for Brighton. He didn't play in the first week and is owned by 0.7% managers. He was brought in as a kind of attacking midfielder for them. He's priced at 6 million. I don't think many people will be going for him. If you do, it's a massive knee jerk. But yeah, he got the goal for Brighton. And the boy Chicharito got the goal for West Ham, obviously inside the box. He's owned by 1.3% of people, priced at 6 mil. Some people might go for him, but I think there's much better lower price strikers doing wonders out there at the moment, like Pookie and co. And also, he's not going to play 90 minutes every game. So the 2 scorers in that match were probably not players that you'd want in your team. I will give a shout out to Lanzini, who got the assist and free bonus. He's played 90 minutes in both games. And they have some pretty nice fixtures coming up. Watford, Norwich and Aston Villa. He's only owned by 1.4% of players, and he's 6.5 mil. So if you're like me and you've got Perez in your team and you're thinking about taking him out, could be a cool differential to have. Bonus point machine. And yeah, racked up good points against Brighton away. So that's about it, really.
No, happy days. Just quickly on that Trossard situation, I've seen, you mentioned it as well, you've seen quite a few of these teams using him as a differential, but is a £6 million player this year classed as a differential? Do you know what I mean? Like you've got Barkley, you've got a lot of players on that 6 mil. You've got Caballas that's cheaper and things like that. And do you think he's even classed as should be a differential if you're 6 mil? That seems still quite a lot of budget.
In my head, differential is percentage ownership instead of price. Because like you're being different from the majority of teams if you have a player who has low ownership, and they're going to get points where other players, where you're going to get points on other teams. So I don't think, in my opinion, price doesn't have anything to do with it. It's the percentage ownership.
Yeah. No. And what percentage ownership did he have? Did you say that?
Yeah, 0.7%. Very low.
So that would be a differential. If it kicks on in the next couple of game weeks, like you say, they've got some decent fixtures. Kicks on in a couple of game weeks, then don't know, one to watch perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, Brighton have some tricky fixtures. West Ham have the nice fixtures. Brighton got City coming up, and then Chelsea and Tottenham back to back a few weeks after that.
Complete avoid then, yeah.
If you're taking anything from my segment here, it would be consider Lanzini as a differential.
Consider Lanzini. All right, noted. Mr. Ray Wild, Everton versus Watford. Any notes there?
1-0 to Everton. Bernard scored in the 10th minute of the game. Plenty of shots. Everton's 12 shots, Watford 8, but only 2 shots on targets for both teams. So disappointing, really. Obviously good for any Everton defenders picking up them points. Same as last week as well. But other than that, nothing to report, I'm afraid. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, no, Everton have like 2 clean sheets on the bounce now. So Digne's providing quite nice returns with 2 clean sheets and assist in 2 weeks. But Everton, they seem to be in quite boring games at the moment, which is a strange one. All right, I'm going to talk about Norwich Newcastle, if you don't mind. Obviously, the note there is Pukki. He's got a hat trick this week. His price is going crazy. He started at 6.5. He's up to 6.7 already in the space of a couple of weeks. People are absolutely jumping on the Pukki train, I think, because a lot of people were avoiding premium strikers at the start anyway. And then obviously finding Pukki has been the standout performer. Everyone's sort of switching up and going for him. I must admit, I'm debating whether to give up Wilson for him, even though Wilson's got like 2 assists in 2 games. Pukki, 4 goals in 2 games, newly promoted team, hat trick, pretty like keeping your eye on it big time. He might actually become the Jimenez of the year. You never know. Jimenez last year was that guy, relatively cheap, banging the goals in. So I don't know how long I'm willing to wait on Pukki. I can imagine even just waiting another couple more games and getting 2 more goals and being like, fuck, his price is going up again. However, for me, the one to note in the Norwich-Newcastle game was Cantwell. So he plays on the left wing for Norwich. He got 2 assists and he's only 4.5 mil. So he's the cheapest you could possibly be for a midfielder. He's been transferred in by 120,000 players already. So I'm sure it'll go from 4.5 to 4.6. But for 4.5 million for a Norwich winger, whose chances are being finished by like an informed striker, he looks a much better option than Den Docker, in my opinion. And even going down, if you're comparing it to Tillemans, Perez, these guys are 6.5. If this guy is 4.5 and then Pukki's finishing his chances and he just becomes an assist machine, I don't know, Cantwell for me, the enabler, could become the enabler in my side. So from that fixture, Cantwell was the stand-up performer. Even though Pukki got them 3 goals, Cantwell, 4.5 mil, is one to keep an eye on. Newcastle in general, they're just fucking shit. Like, I can't see that changing as well. Like, Steve Bruce, for me, is just not the manager to do it. They don't have the squad. Joel Linton's 6 mil. Doesn't look like he can finish his dinner. So, completely avoid any Newcastle players. But, obviously, if you're jumping on the Pukki train, you're hoping that continues. Could be a wake-up call if he goes blank for a few weeks. But
well, especially when they got Chelsea at home, then West Ham away, then City at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So, that price is increasing. These people are going to get maybe he might blank for 3 weeks. You never know. 4 goals in first 5 weeks will still be decent. But when he started so well and the price is going up, it's risky for me to go so soon. Don't know about you boys.
Hopefully, I'm just going to wait for everyone to transfer him in. He blanks in these next tough fixtures, goes down again, and then I'll get him in for his easy fixtures.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
That's what I'm doing.
So you boys are playing the financial arbitrage then, yeah?
Yeah, that's the one, mate. The financial arbitrage, the exponential growth.
All right, then. So let's move on to Southampton, Liverpool. Mason.
Yes. Right. Start with Southampton. Danny Ings, crowd favourite. Can we get a cheer for Danny Ings? Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, who gave that really fucking unenthusiastic? Danny Ings gets a goal. He's a bit part player though. You know, he plays like 60 minutes every game. He only played 26 minutes in this game. So ignore that. Let's look at Liverpool. Mane, obviously, standout performer, scored a goal, assisted one, free bonus. Very nice, lovely jubbly if you have Mane in your team. If you're like the majority of FPL managers, including me, and you had Salah, be disappointed with this game. And probably I was very much considering swapping Salah out for Mane, freeing up like $3 million.
Wow. Wow.
Do you know what I mean? But then I saw everyone taking out Salah. And I just think that he's just going to come back and score a brace against Arsenal or something. So I'm sticking with it. And yeah, obviously Firmino scored the other one. I mean, he got a goal and assist in 2 games. Solid. You know what he's going to give you. But I think he is just a little bit too pricey at 9.5. Still owned by 11.2%. So yeah, I mean, I don't need to talk too much about Liverpool. Everyone has Liverpool players in their team. Salah and Mane, obviously great bets throughout the season. Firmino probably as well. Yeah, I think we got stung, a lot of us this week, with Mane getting all the reward and Salah getting nothing. But my advice would be just to hang in there.
Who are these people transferring out Salah, man? Like, what do you want from the first 2 weeks? Like, surely he's a set and forget. What is the thinking there? Do you think they're just literally straight swapping for Mane?
Yeah, no, these people are the people who stop playing after 2 or 3 weeks, and they're like, their team's not doing very well. They can't be bothered anymore, right? We all know people like that. These people are kind of into it at the moment. Oh, Mane's scored. I'm like, you know, they don't have the vision to see long term. Basically, that's my opinion. Yeah. And yeah, I think they're going to get stung. I think Salah's going to come back big.
Yeah, I agree with that. I certainly won't believe in my team. All right, thanks for that. Joe. Man City, Tottenham.
Yeah, man, that was probably the biggest game of the week. Finished 2-2. A very flattering scoreline again. So the main one to look at was De Bruyne. He was a standout player. He got the free bonus. He got 2 assists. What else can we say about this game? So the goals come from Aguero, come from Sterling. Sterling's on absolute fire. Like, I took -4 to get him in my team because he's one of those players that you can't miss out on. His price is already increasing. Like, that's probably as well what people are doing. They're going from Salah to Sterling if they didn't already. Lucas Moura scored, so he's got his pre-season form. He's looking decent. And Lamela, he was a star player. He got a goal and an assist, I believe. And he got 2 bonus. Things to look at this game, maybe not from a FPL point of view, or maybe, but Aguero and Pep, they seem to have a bit of a falling out when he got subbed off with Jesus. I think Pep's quite a stubborn manager, so it could be seen that Aguero is going to be dropped if anyone's going in their teams. I think De Bruyne, he's gone up to 9.6 since the game week finished. He's looking like a set and forget as well. But yeah, City looking really good. Spurs still looking a bit shaky at the back. But yeah, I think City offensive assets, if you haven't got Sterling or De Bruyne in your team, you're going to start slipping in your mini leagues.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The Aguero situation seemed a bit strange. Do you think then Jesus might get the nod this weekend, you were saying?
I think so, yeah. I think he suits the team better. I think when Pep took over, I think his idea was to put Jesus in that team. Because he's more flexible, he can play in different positions. But Aguero is just so consistently scoring. But Aguero is getting on. I think they're going to be rotated heavily because I think the Champions League will be a focus. So it's one to watch. But either way, if you've got Sterling or De Bruyne there, I wouldn't waste your money on Jesus for 9.5 or Aguero for 11 mil. I'd leave them, focus on the midfield assets, and yeah, that will reap the rewards.
Okay, cool. Jordan, Sheffield United against Palace. What happened in that game?
Boo! Hate this game. I hated this game.
Yeah, this game was painful to watch, especially when, like me and Mason, you've got the John Lundstrom on the bench. They won 1-0, Sheffield United, that is. He got the goal. I mean, if anyone has anyone else in their team, I'd be surprised from all this lot. Palace looked terrible. Zaha, who is the only player you would really think, maybe Milivojevic, but Zaha just looked lost. He couldn't get in the game, booed constantly, looked annoyed to even be there. At the start of the season, he thought maybe he'd be in your team if he got on a transfer, but now he just looks disinterested and bad.
All right, Jordan, pick one player from each team other than Lundstram and Zaha who you would pick.
I mean, Milivojevic maybe, because he takes their set pieces for Palace. Sheffield United, I mean, Billy Sharp.
Billy Sharp.
Billy Sharp. I mean, what's his name? McGoldrick. He was playing instead of Billy Sharp, and God, why he was playing, I don't know. He missed the easiest chance you could get. He went with his wrong foot. He looks useful. He just lumbers about.
Amateur hour.
Yeah. Oh, and also, did you know Jon Lundstrom? Anyone want to know where he's from?
That's Nordic, surely.
He's
Denmark.
Scouse. I saw him in the interview afterwards. Yeah,
he's English, yeah.
So that was a bit of I couldn't figure out his accent for a while, and then I realised, he's English.
Gareth Southgate, pull him up.
I saw that all their team is from
English and
Great
Irish.
Britain. Yeah.
Well, Brexit.
They voted.
Brexit in action.
No, for me, with the Palace defence, you have to have Dean Henderson in goal, in my opinion. 4.5 mil, picking up them 9 points, absolutely huge.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have got Kelly as their sort of cheap 4 million option. Any defence that's got Kelly in will not get you clean sheet points, so it's pointless anyway.
By the way, how did FPL make Lundstrom defender for one thing and 4 mil? Well, maybe 4 mil is fair, but literally, he wears a number 7 shirt. Every attack I saw on Match of the Day, he was in the box. Like, how have they classed him as a defender? It's ridiculous.
No, but did you know he only played... I was seeing something where he only played in 10 games last season, and he did fill in like a wing-back position, and they actually tried to sell him in the summer, but they couldn't get rid of him, and now they've actually decided to start him further forward rather than make him fill in at the back. So, he's basically gone from...
So he's got to play for them.
Yeah, he's basically gone from the bench of Sheffield United in the Championship to playing right wing in for Sheffield United, like box-to-box player, picking up the assists. It's mad.
As far as the rest of the Premier League is concerned, he's their star man now.
Yeah, 100%. 4 million as well, get him in the team, 100%.
Exactly, get him in the team.
All right.
Yeah, just put him on the bench, though, isn't it?
Yeah, get him in the team, but on the bench.
I'm going to take Sala out for him next week. Fuck it, I've had enough.
Okay, second to last game, I'm going to talk about Chelsea-Leicester briefly. So, Mount, priced at 6 mil, picked up the goal, and compared to Barkley, who was dropped, seems like much the better option for that price. He's definitely a starter. Lampard loves him. He's on a few free kicks, so if you're willing to spend 6 mil on a Chelsea midfielder, Mount probably the best option of the bunch. Chelsea started really, really well, but they just couldn't finish their chances. Mount did get on the end of one, but just from pressure, like the striker situation, Abraham, Giroud, like they're clearly going to be rotated for 7.5 mil each. They are just a complete avoid. In terms of for Leicester, quite worrying. Vardy has blanked in his last 4 Premier League games, so he's got 4 points from his last 2 in this start of the season. He's £9 million. He's having a shocker at the moment. That's why I think people maybe taking out Vardy, putting in Pookie and freeing up lots of money. So Leicester have got Sheffield United and Bournemouth in the next 2 games, so I still wouldn't be knee-jerking Perez or Vardy out. I'd give them guys the 2 games, Sheffield United and Bournemouth, and then if they're still not firing, put in someone with some form. But it's the classic case of like playing Chelsea away, not getting anything, and then freeing up funds, and then they scoring against Sheffield United. So not much.
Yeah, just on that quickly as well, you got to think, right, when you put Leicester players in your team, you didn't put them in for the Chelsea away and Wolves game. You put them in for these 2 coming up,
exactly.
Sheffield United and Bournemouth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not going to take them out of my team. Obviously, if they blank for the next 2 weeks, they can fuck right off.
Oh, big time, mate. I'll be fucking furious.
But I've got a feeling Perez is going to get on the score sheet this weekend, in my opinion, coming up. But we'll get into that on the next podcast. All right then, Raymondo, can you finish us off with a game that has just finished? Wolves against Man United.
I can indeed. It has finished here 1-1. A good little point there for Wolves.
Yeah.
Good little goal from Martial again. Nice assist from Rashford. I'll take them points. Other than that, again, pretty boring game, but 1-1 here. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Ray.
Cheers, Jack.
To be fair,
am I seeing that someone's having a mare in that game there?
to be fair,
What?
I missed a penalty, so Patricia's getting some binks.
And Wan-Bissaka got a yellow card, so cheers for that one.
It's a lovely.
He'll still get 3 bonus points somehow, though. 'Cause Wan-Bissaka.
At the moment, it's not confirmed, but it looks like Moutinho's getting 3 bonus, Martial's getting 2, and Neves and Rashford are getting 1 apiece.
Pell, I know Pell's going to be listening to this. He's probably still fuming. He's not got Rashford in. He picked up another assist. Me and Pell talking privately, and he is literally stressing out trying to get Rashford in his team. It's absolutely mad. All right then. So if everyone's happy to wrap up the podcast there. So we're going to be doing another podcast later in the week. It's going to be the preview of the incoming Game Week 3. But for this week, I would like to say thank you to everyone on the pod.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you very
Cheers,
much.
mate.
Thank you.
No problem. And we will see you next week, chaps. Subscribe, comment, and like if you're still listening, which you're probably not.
Subscribe, or I'll delete your Fortnite account.